Well, the talk of the crypto industry right now is what's going on with Terra Luna and the UST stablecoin. They've officially been delisted from many exchanges and they've dropped over 99.9% from its all-time high. And of course, the stablecoin still hasn't caught up to what it's supposed to be, which is worth $1. So in this video, I'm going to review what happened to Terra Luna because it's actually a terrible story for the crypto industry. And I'm also going to talk about some other things regarding stablecoin news because USDT, Tether, nearly lost its peg last night in a wild night. So I'm going to tell you about how it actually kept its peg to $1. And with all this, of course, you have Bitcoin falling to new lows or local lows. And with that, altcoins went right along for the ride. But there's a lot of people saying that the altcoin season that they hope was going to happen, in which altcoin would essentially moon regardless of what Bitcoin is doing, probably isn't going to happen. In fact, it's almost doing the opposite. It's an anti-alt season. And not only that, NFTs are not escaping it as well. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel, we're of course talking about the Ripple versus the SEC case, but I'm also covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the Late Night Grind community. Also, if you do three things, I'd really appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button, watch this video all the way to the end, and of course check out my Patreon, link in the description below. All right guys, let's jump into it. Okay, so let's talk about what happened to Terra Luna. Well, since its stablecoin, the USDT, lost its peg to $1 and had been fluctuating wildly for days on end, well, everybody pretty much lost faith in what the Terra Luna crypto was doing and how it was actually pegged, and of course had a lot of people calling Ponzi on Twitter. Well, it was one of these things where it was just somewhat of a poorly designed mechanism where Terra Luna used its own cryptocurrency as well as the backing of Bitcoin, which it just didn't have enough of, which of course coupled that with Bitcoin tanking to new lows. It wasn't able to use enough liquidity to make their stablecoin back to worth $1 and keep it pegged to $1. They continually had to dilute the Luna Terra holdings, meaning they just created billions and billions and billions of the Terra Luna cryptocurrency, which of course devalued that currency. And if you held that currency, well, you probably sold off because that makes your crypto worth less. Well, that basically just created a death spiral, and that is what led to Terra Luna losing over 99.7% of its value. It was then, of course, delisted from many of the exchanges, and earlier today I actually read Terra had halted all of its activity on the Terra Luna blockchain. But when I did check, USDT was still active, not pegged to the dollar. I believe it was around 13 cents last time I checked. And Terra Luna is going to have a heck of a time repairing. I don't know if they can recover from this. This is catastrophic for not just them and their holders, but it is a big black eye and a stain for the rest of the crypto world, because it shows that just because you have faith in a project, just because the creator created something in the past and you might think they know what they're doing, well, it might be a poor design. But because it was actually posted on Twitter that Cowen, the creator of Terra Luna, was actually involved in the creation of a stablecoin back in 2020 that went up to $174 million market cap before that one tanked as well. Now, that didn't come out, of course, until all this came about. He is going to have a heck of a name repairing his reputation in the cryptocurrency world. It may not ever be repaired. Okay, so now I want to talk about Tether, USDT, the other stablecoin. This one, of course, is the largest in the crypto world, even though there are 39 stablecoins right now. Tether is the biggest one. And in the wild night last night, I was up at about 3:30, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time US watching this unfold. Watching as Tether lost its peg to $1, which, by the way, happens all the time. It's not going to stay at exactly $1. The USDT stablecoin, it's supposed to stay at roughly close to $1, although it doesn't stay exactly there. Sometimes it goes slightly above or slightly below because it's an algorithmic stablecoin. So it dropping from 99.9 to 99.8 to 99.7, well, that's happened a bunch of times before. But then it started to spiral out of control and became worth 98 cents, and 97, 93, 92, and finally 90 cents. That is not supposed to happen to a stablecoin. Now, a lot of people were getting very nervous very early in this morning, trying to figure out what was going to happen to the rest of the crypto world, because that was happening right along as Bitcoin hit its new local low of around 25,300. Okay, so it came out earlier. What did Tether do to regain its peg? Well, probably something that Terra Luna should have kept in mind when they were trying to get their stablecoin repegged. Tether actually burned 3 billion tokens. There was a burn of 1 billion tokens, and shortly after, a burn of 2 billion tokens. So a total of 3 billion Tether tokens were burned. This of course takes the value off the table, but instead of diluting the supply, it actually makes the supply a little bit more scarce and thus a little bit more valuable, putting that peg back closer to $1. Now, of course, this is all making waves in the crypto world, but it's also making waves in the offline world, as the United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen recently is going to be in a meeting talking about stablecoins and, of course, the implosion of Terra Luna. She's actually mentioned this for the last couple of days. So the fact that the United States regulators are going to use this as an opportunity for them to actually go after stablecoins and regulate them, this is Gary Gensler's dream come true, unfortunately. Well, I'm glad that Tether was actually able to regain the peg, and the fact that there's other stablecoins out there doing perfectly fine. USDC is one of them, and of course Binance has a stablecoin, and many others that keep their peg remaining to close to $1. Nonetheless, the United States congressional meetings, they're going to be talking about stablecoins and stablecoin regulation. And as this fight ramps up about who's actually going to control this, the regulation, the SEC, the CFTC, who's going to put oversight over something like stablecoins, which is in Gary Gensler's bullseye, well, you can thank Do Kwon for that one. All right, so let's talk about some more bad news, and that being the anti-alt season. I've seen a few people on Twitter talking about how they can't wait till alt season takes off, but a lot of that revolved around Bitcoin setting new all-time highs and people taking some of that profit and putting it into the altcoin market. Of course, that is not happening right now, as Bitcoin, even though it's doing really, really well, it's not tanking to 21,000 like some of the other predictions that I've seen. It's certainly not conveying that into altcoins. Altcoins are bouncing a little bit, but not like altcoin season. Altcoin season is when people think they're going to be making life-changing wealth because of altcoins that they invested into at cheap prices. Well, a lot of those prices are right back down to where they were last year, if not further back. And technically right now, XRP is considered an altcoin. It was actually dropped to a low of 32 cents. It's now up above 41 cents as the last time I've checked, so it's doing well. However, it is one of the few that are doing well and bouncing back so well. In fact, the Bitcoin dominance number, which is Bitcoin's percentage of market cap relative to the rest of the cryptocurrency industry, is at 44% and climbing. It hasn't been that big since November of last year. We can see Ethereum right now still struggling to get past $2,000 as of last check. I believe it is finally past $2,000. And of course, the NFT market, they're not escaping this as well. Some of the NFT markets are absolutely tanking. Even the Bored Ape Yacht Club, one of the most valuable parts of the NFT community. I read an article just posted yesterday that was talking about the floor of the Bored Ape Yacht Club and how that floor is down to 52 Ethereum. Well, just several weeks ago, the floor was, I believe, over 150 Ethereum for a Bored Ape Yacht Club. But of course, several weeks ago, that was worth well over $3,000. Well, now they're worth, $1,700, now up above $2,000. So that $300,000 to $400,000 Bored Ape Yacht Club, well, it's now down to about $100,000. And the sales activity of them, as well as a lot of other NFTs and other NFT marketplaces, are down dramatically. Now, this isn't big news. It's actually been kind of falling for the last 2 to 3 months. But nonetheless, when Bitcoin has its issues, the stablecoins have its issues. There's a lot of fear in the market. When people have a lot of fear in the market, things like NFTs and speculative assets, well, they just kind of fall off the radar for a while, at least until Bitcoin regains its footing. And as of right now, it's starting to climb. That's something to pay attention to. All right, guys, I did want to make a quick announcement before I wrap up this video. On Friday, which is probably when you are watching this video, if it is around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be going on to DJ Culture's live stream where he talks about NFTs, cryptocurrencies, and of course he has a live stream where he DJs, plays music to a global audience of about 1.7 million listeners. So if you want to tap into that, I'll put a link in the description below and you can listen to me there. Basically going to be going over some of the same market updates, talk some NFTs and some entertainment. So if you want to check in, I'll put that link in the description below. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.